In late May of 2026, the weekend box office looked a little unfamiliar. The two top films in the country were not franchise sequels or studio tentpoles, but horror movies directed by filmmakers in their 20s who had been working, mostly, on YouTube. Kane Parsons, just 20, saw his film Backrooms, released by A24 in more than 3,400 theaters, take in about $81.5 million over its first 3 days. Around the same time, Curry Barker's Obsession, a psychological horror film made for roughly $750,000, was passing $148 million worldwide after 2 weeks in release. And sitting just behind those two was Star Wars, The Mandalorian, and Grogu. The demographics here are absolutely striking. Exit polling for Backrooms revealed that 86% of the opening weekend audience was under 35, 56% were under 25, and 44% were under 21. Now the superficial analysis, the one you will see in standard trade papers, is that Gen Z simply showed up for their favorite internet celebrities. It treats YouTube as a standard talent pipeline, a sort of minor league farm team for the real show in Hollywood. But that reading is incredibly lazy. It assumes the traditional theatrical release is still the center of the universe and everything else is just marketing. The deeper, far more interesting reality is that the movie no longer begins when the house lights go down. The movie starts years before the movie. It begins inside an active, participatory practice. When Michael DeLuca, the co-chair of Warner Brothers Motion Pictures, looked at this phenomenon, he pointed out that Kane Parsons had been working on Backrooms online for 5 years. These creators, as DeLuca put it, are in a dialogue with their audience from the word go. By the time the film actually reaches a physical theater, they have essentially run 1 billion test screenings. Think about the sheer mechanics of that. In the old studio system, you develop a script in complete isolation, shoot it, and then maybe, near the very end, you show it to a room of recruited strangers holding clipboards to see if the ending lands. It is clinical, reactive, and late. But a 5-year online dialogue is a completely different kind of apprenticeship. Platforms like YouTube or TikTok allow aspiring filmmakers to bypass film school entirely, learning in public through rapid iteration. Every upload, every comment, every fan-made edit is a data point. The creator-native filmmaker is not just guessing what might work. They are watching their audience build the lore in real time, learning exactly which images stick, which gaps invite speculation, and which mistakes can be turned into style. This brings us to a crucial distinction that strategic foresight forces us to make: the difference between scouting individual talent and understanding a story system. The creator economy is no longer a collection of quirky side projects. It is a massive macroeconomic engine. National Cinemedia notes that this ecosystem is already valued at $250 billion, projected to more than double in the next 5 years. In the UK alone, Oxford Economics found that YouTube creators contributed £2.2 billion to the economy in 2024, supporting 45,000 jobs. This is not a hobbyist class. These are highly sophisticated, decentralized creative systems. Yet, Hollywood's default instinct will be to misread this entire shift. They will do what they always do when they are frightened. They will look for intellectual property to buy. They will scan subscriber counts, option viral memes, and sign creators based on raw reach. They are buying the plumbing while completely ignoring the water. A subscriber count is not a story system. A story system is a pattern of return. It is a set of shared codes, symbols, and practices that a community co-creates and protects over time. Look at The Amazing Digital Circus, an indie animated series that became a global phenomenon on YouTube. Fathom Events recently brought its The Last Act to over 2,200 theaters, combining Episode 8 with the brand new Episode 9 for a special theatrical run before it hit the internet. It projected an eye-watering $6.8 million for a Thursday premiere alone. That is not a traditional release window. It is a completely inverted sequence. You incubate the world online for free, building immense active attachment. Then you use the physical theatre as a high-value communal event. And finally, you return the world to the digital ecosystem where it lives and breathes. When a studio tries to buy the aesthetic of these internet-native properties without understanding the collaborative practice behind them, they get empty replicas. They strip mine the IP, polish away the generative oddities that made it work in the first place, and wonder why the audience refuses to show up. They do not realize that the community's involvement in shaping the world is the very thing that gave it value. So, what is the actual future of the movie theatre if it is no longer the sole origin point of our stories? Through the lens of foresight, we can see that screens are not killing each other. They are specializing. They are falling into a highly cooperative hierarchy. The small screen, your laptop, your phone, is where worlds are born. It is cheap, low friction, and permits endless experimentation. Social platforms act as the circulation system, moving these fragments across different communities. Streaming serves as the permanent library, keeping the world accessible at all times. So where does that leave the theatre? Increasingly, it is the place where a scattered, mostly online audience tests whether its enthusiasm is shared. You may watch a series alone on your phone for years, then pay $15 to sit in a dark room with hundreds of people who know the same jokes, feel the same dread, and speak the same bits of lore. The movie matters, but so does the head count. The turnout becomes part of the experience. This flips the usual death of cinema story. Cinema is not disappearing, its sequence is changing. The feature film is no longer the starting point for a world so much as a late chapter in it. In a case like Backrooms, the yellowed wallpaper and fluorescent hum circulate online first as an atmosphere, then show up in theatres as a single, concentrated event. For those who manage the future of media, the challenge is clear. The next great cinematic movement will not arrive as a slickly packaged pitch deck or a polished screenplay. It will arrive as a messy, collaborative space that millions of people already know how to inhabit. The question is whether the old institutions will learn to respect these systems, or if they will keep trying to colonize them.